I was very beautiful. In the days of my youth, I was so beautiful that the onlookers would forget to turn their eyes for a moment when they saw me. My husband was also very pleased with me on the wedding night. Whenever I visited my in-laws with my 2 sons, Mir Adavar would refuse to drink milk. I found his behavior very bad even though he was 55 years old and I was still young. A few days after the marriage, one night my husband was not at home. That night the brother-in-law came to my room and said to me, "Brother, today they are alone, hurry up. Give me milk, I want to drink this milk." Dur started to be stubborn and then Dur made cloth by himself. I was born in a middle-class family. At the age of 19, such a youth came over me that within a few days I married the bridegroom. On the first night, the husband told me, "Yes, my elder brother is very angry. They become mad with anger. You should take great care of them and do whatever they say." By the way, for 4 days I was also seeing the same. Whenever my husband would give a sound to Arsul, his complexion would immediately turn yellow. My husband would leave the room. Seeing Arsul's bad mood, I had a deep sorrow in my heart. It was the 5th day when Arsul told me that today we will go out for a walk. I was also very happy, but at that time the brother-in-law called Arsul, and he immediately left the room. I could hear my brother-in-law shouting from outside. He was saying that 4 days have passed in the chaos of the wedding. How much damage can be caused by the cause? And today you sat again. He would have reached the shop now and stood on the head of all the workers to ensure that they work properly. Yours. I did not get married so that you stay in the room and ask your wife to take responsibility for someone else. It had been a long time, just a few days had passed since our marriage and I was making breakfast in his pod, in which my head had made many mistakes. But Arsul had kindly explained to me that this was the truth of my brother's words. Believe me, for so long, I have been confused with the thought that my brother-in-law's mood is like this, but today, the noise made by my brother-in-law made me very nervous. When Arsul entered gray, his face was sunken, he said, "I'm sorry, I have to go to the shop." I didn't object. Arsul went to his shop. I came to the kitchen and started washing dishes with Bedley. On the 3rd day of marriage, I also cooked food and all household chores too. I had to do it. My brother-in-law had fired the maid. They said that when the daughter-in-law came to the house, she will do the cleaning. So my brother-in-law called me. He was sitting in his room. I put the dupatta on my head but the 2 straps were silk, so when I went to my brother-in-law's room I asked, "Brother, what do you want?" They looked at me from head to toe and looked at me in a strange way. They put their tongues on their lips and said that they want to drink milk. By doing this, I first thought of my dupatta because 2 straps had slipped from my chest. I immediately fixed my 2 straps and came out of the room. The movement seemed strange. Doer is the brother's place, and the brother never covers his daughters from head to. In this way, I do not see what to do immediately. I am shaken. My heart was beating fast and I was also feeling strange. I opened the freezer and grabbed a glass of milk and wrapped 2 straps well on myself and came to my brother-in-law's room. She put a glass of milk on the side table before I left the room. No, and I was alone for a long time and I get bored sitting alone.
Closet. There was no separate chair to sit on, so I had to sit on the edge of the bed. I can't drink such cold milk, so I like hot milk. Then his eyes started traveling from my face to my whole body. I don't know what was happening in his eyes that I was getting confused. Drops of sweat were clearly visible on my forehead. Ladu, I grabbed a glass of milk and stood up. By the way, for 3 days my brother-in-law was talking very angry. When Arsul was in the house, his tone was very low. It didn't seem like it was me. There are brothers-in-law who have been calling Arsul for 5 days. Arsul was angrily scolding the members. I put the milk in a pan and heated it a little. Then she put it in a glass and took it to her brother-in-law. I passed the glass in front of him. He also held my hand with milk. I got a shock all over my body and immediately panicked. When I wanted to withdraw my hand, they let go of my hand. I started to go out of the room, so they said, "Hey, where are you going out? Sit here. Talk to me." This snake of loneliness was starting to bite me even more. It seemed more strange. I started to feel strange after listening to their words. Then they said that the black suit you wore on the day after the wedding was very much in love. This was a request that Tawar Sil should have made to me. Neither did my servant go to the shop this year. He would call me to his room, looking at me with strange eyes, repeatedly running his tongue on my dry lips, then saying that he wants me to drink milk. He would warm the milk and give me a glass of milk. Talk to me. What could I talk about? I used to pretend that I had to cook and wash the dishes. Actually, I didn't like all this. Now my heart was getting restless, thinking I should talk to Arcel. Tears started flowing from my eyes. My father already had 3 daughters, and he was a noble person. He collected dowry with great difficulty and married one of her daughters. Don't come back to our house after a fight with your husband and brother-in-law. Obedience, and try to settle your house. But I could not do what my brother-in-law wanted. His actions and rudeness were increasing day by day. If Arcel was as angry at the time, if he told me, of course. By lying to myself, I did not answer. She sat on the bed. My brother-in-law said to her, "Explain for the last time. Make his mind right, otherwise I will. I will go and talk to her mother to take care of her daughter." After saying this, he left angrily. He cast an angry look at his neighbor. "What is the problem with you?" I said that I wish my mother-in-law and brother-in-law. If I had slept, I would not have gone through the situation I am going through today. He started looking at me with anger and asked what kind of problems did he create? Or I said, "Arcel, do this and marry your brother." What I had to say was that there was a loud slap. He hit me on the face and said, "Aren't you ashamed to say such things? This is the age of my brother's marriage. Brother's distance has also become such a burden on you that you are also finding it difficult to cook." I said, "You are not understanding me," he said. "What does this matter that I am asking? My brother is 55 years old. He is suffering from high blood pressure, and you want my brother to take the responsibility of a woman at this age. Now, what did I tell him? That his brother is his brother, keep an eye on his wife. Has happened I said that I will take care of both your brother and sister-in-law when you get married." At this he smiled strangely and said, "Look, these houses and businesses are all in the name of my brother. If any of them, when she came as a wife, everything was in her possession. He will push me and you away. You are well aware of your brother's anger at home. When they get angry, they don't care about anyone." I also listened to Chap Chap by again now. He left the room saying don't take the name of his brother's marriage. Mom left now. I was thinking, what should I do? Now I was wondering what to do. I could not bear such actions of my brother-in-law and to go home like this. It meant that I have ruined my house. I was crying and started to wipe my tears with a cloth. The 2 brothers could not digest the food of the market after quickly preparing it. Hoda, I went out and made breakfast and came to the room. I had not eaten that day, but Arcel. Not even once did he say to me that you are also hungry for the whole day, eat food. Don't just mean it by your actions. It happens. Arcel was also counted among such men. I had silenced myself after that. When Arcel went to the shop, Mir Adiwar started calling me. I went to his room in great compulsion and helplessness. He started laughing when he saw me. What did you think?